The purpose of the pyramid. Your belief is what?
I believe the pyramid is a reflection of us.
This is the Deep Dive with Adam Roa.
Leonardo da Vinci has one of his most famous pieces of art is the Vitruvian Man, right? The Vitruvian Man, you would recognize, I have one here. It's this thing, right? Vitruvian Man.
Yeah. So for people who are just listening to it, it's the dude who's like got starfish position and he's got his arms in two positions, like two.
You had to go there to starfish, didn't you?
Starfish.
Yeah, there you go. So Leonardo da Vinci did something very unique with this. He made a circle and he made a square. Now, the square he made is the one that's middle here. It's the one that's marked right at the tip of my finger right here. Okay. On both sides. And it's unique because it just barely crests the edge of this circle right here. Okay. And this is a very famous image. And in fact, it's probably one of the most iconic images of art that we could find today. Why did he pick that square size that he did? Well, what I discovered on this was not only did I find that if I referenced that upper, right-hand corner of his square from the center navel, turns out to be the same slope angle as the Great Pyramid. The exact same slope, which is a very unique number. It's 51.8436 degrees. It's exact. And he's pointing right to it too. So 51.8436 degrees. Okay, that's speaking something about the Great Pyramid. All right. Well, what about the square that he made? Well, I told you that the Euler number was supposedly discovered by Sir Isaac Newton, right? But named after a subsequent mathematician. I don't know why he got the name of it, but Leonard Euler. And actually, what we learn is that 200 years before Isaac Newton discovered the number, Leonardo da Vinci encrypted it right inside this exact piece of art. What he did is the act of squaring the circle is to find a square with the same area as the circle has as its area. So if you have a radius of 1 for the circle, then you would have pi, because pi r squared is the area then of that circle, right? And if you wanted to make a perfect square without measurements at all, that's the way the ancient Greeks wanted to always try to do it. That was their challenge. You would have to make a square with an area of pi, right? So you'd have to have a side length that would be exactly without the aid of measurement at all. You'd have to have an area, or rather a side length that's going to be the square root of pi, right? And then you would have pi as its area. Well, Da Vinci didn't do that. Da Vinci gave us a much smaller square. Would you be surprised to know that the exact area of the Da Vinci square that he left, that has confounded art historians ever since for 500 years, is exactly the Euler number? The area is the same Euler number. And now he's giving us a square that's Euler and a circle that's pi. And from this, I later figured out how to derive and be able to solve the riddle of squaring the circle, which is finding the exact same energy in perfect balance between masculine and feminine. That's the challenge of it. Da Vinci put it all in here, and he pushed us right to this angle up here, which is the exact same as the Great Pyramid, right? Exactly the same as the Great Pyramid. So what is it trying to tell us? Well, I believe that what we find also when we look at that Vitruvian Man, and Alan Green and I worked on this together, is that if you place the Great Pyramid on top of it and superimpose it on top of the Vitruvian Man in the exact right position to do so, it informs each of the locations. So Da Vinci made a horizontal line right at the chest, right here. He made a line right at the neck. He made vertical lines also in the arms. He made them at the knee here as well. There's little lines here. I don't know if you can see them very well, but there's little lines right here. Those are the exact locations of chambers of the Great Pyramid. Every one of the current chambers match it perfectly. I mean, perfectly. So how in the heck is it possible that Da Vinci knew, first of all, to encrypt the slope angle of the Great Pyramid within here, to take the Euler number, which is one of the great mysteries of the universe at that time. Nobody knew the Euler number and its relationship to gravity and time. And then on top of that, he's given us the location in these 14 separations of this man, which, by the way, he even talks about separating the man up into 14 parts. Well, guess who else was separated up into 14 parts in mythology? Osiris. Osiris was killed by Set and cut into 14 pieces. So this is exactly a representation, right, of an encryption, of a map, of the Great Pyramid itself, where the base of the Great Pyramid is informed by where the navel is, and the Queen's chamber and the King's chamber, and then other unknown chambers that are yet, not yet found. The line at the groin down here is exactly where the subterranean chamber is as well. It exactly matches. So what that says is that there's lines at the neck, there's lines at the crown, and there's lines also right at the pineal gland. So are there then chambers that are located in those exact same spots that are not yet found? And we believe that's true, that yes, they are.
And that's what we're going to Egypt to look at.
Absolutely.